Hey witches! Today I wanted to talk about one of the many spellcasting myths, specifically the one that I think gets a lot of witches into more trouble than any other one. And that is casting spells is harmless. And gosh, I've seen so many witches get in trouble with this. I've seen so many witches get hurt or on the verge of getting hurt. Sorry if I'm moving around too much. I'm trying to get comfortable. The whole concept comes from the idea. No more glare. The idea that because it's witchcraft, because it's magic, because it's related to their religion, that it is somehow protected more than if they were doing the same actions unrelated to their craft. Specifically, I've seen this issue when witches are doing like fire magic, like candle spells, or are doing rituals around a bonfire. They don't take the fire safety precautions that they would if they were just lighting candles or having a bonfire with their friends or lighting a fire in their hearth, because they are very focused on what they're doing, and I don't blame them. But many a time has happened that in a ritual circle with a group that their robes have been singed. So you just gotta take some common sense with that. The same with, and here's the one that really just, it lights a fire under me. It gets me a little bit upset when I hear people talk about it, is in sex magic, that they aren't taking the safety precautions that they would if they were just having sex. So they're not wearing protection. They're not ensuring against STIs and pregnancy. And they're doing that because, well, it's sex magic. So no, there's no, just because it's ritualistic does not mean it's going to be inherently safe. And then, the same thing as if you're doing drugs for ritual purposes. Now, I'm not going to judge you whether you do that or not. That's up to you. But it doesn't mean that you can't OD. It doesn't mean that it can't do damage to your mind and body. So just, try and have some common sense. Sadly, common sense does not come with your witch card. And I'm joking, obviously. There is no witch card that I know of. So just try and use some common sense, especially if you're doing this in a group. The group ecstasy, kind of overrides some of our mundane thinking, and it can cause more problems than if it was just one person. Another issue that kind of goes along with magic not being inherently safe is that doesn't mean that what you're doing is legally protected because you're doing it for witchcraft or religious purposes. And by that I mean, if you're using drugs, or if you're drinking and you're not of age, or even having sex within ritualistic purposes, depending on who your partners are, does not mean that you are necessarily religiously protected. You might get a good lawyer and get out of it, but just something to think about. Also, the same is if you're going out at night, make sure that you take precautions and somebody knows where you're at. Somebody knows some basic self-defense, or bring some basic self-defense with you. Muggers are not going to care if you're a witch. Same thing with some people with even more nefarious plans. And then with the legal thing, just because you're a witch does not grant you the right to trespass on private property or cemeteries or parks after closing. Make sure you get permissions. Make sure you know that you're legally allowed in that location. Just stuff to think about. I've run into so many witches who think that their practice protects them beyond energetically, and it might. I'm not gonna downplay spiritual protection. I know it's saved my butt more than a number of times, but at the same time, if you're being foolhardy and kind of relying too much on that, our shadow selves and spirits and deities, if you believe in them, they have a way of teaching us lessons through our own hubris. So just some stuff to think about. If you would like to learn some more about 6 other spellcasting myths that I've discussed, head on over to my blog. I'll post the link below. But it's startwitching.com/spell-casting-myths. So make sure you go check that out and leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any other myths that you would like to debunk within witchcraft and spellcasting. I would definitely love to take a look at that. Thank you all for watching.